Mary had a little lamb.
From the classiest radio station on the air, this is...
Welcome to the Black Rabbit's Curse, where every shadow hides a sinister verse. Hear the airs thick with tales of terror twist in your head. Into the dark unknown, where fear takes root and chills the bone. Beware, dear traveler, for once you're here. The curse may linger year after year. The poet of hollow words. The first thing Leia noticed when she entered the Boston Historical Archive basement was a smell. Old paper, mildew, and something sweeter, something warm, like breath. She was a grad student specializing in African American literature. Her thesis was on Phillis Wheatley, the enslaved child prodigy poet whose work shook America. She was supposed to be cataloging receipts. She wasn't supposed to find this. The folder was tucked behind loose brick in the wall, no label. Just an old ribbon tied in a thimble bow. Inside, a manuscript written in elegant 18th century cursive. Unfamiliar, but the signature at the bottom made her knees almost buckle. Phillis Wheatley. Except the ink didn't look like ink. It looked brownish, darker, sticky in the corners, almost like Lena didn't finish the thought. The title read, Verses Upon My Return in Midnight's Grabs. She frowned. Whitley never wrote anything with that title. She began reading aloud despite the chill creeping up her back. Imagination, who can sing thou forest, or who describe the swiftness of thou curse? Her voice trembled. This wasn't the poem she knew, not exactly. Whitley had written a poem called Oh Imagination, but this version, the lines were wrong, twisted, as if rewritten by someone who had seen something non-human should. She flipped the page, and that's where she heard it. A soft dragging sound behind her, like paper sliding across the floor. She turned. The shelves were still, the lights hum, but on the far table sat a sheet of parchment she didn't place there. The edges fluttered as if they were breathing. Lena stepped closer. Brownish words were appearing across it, letter by letter, as if an invisible quill were scribing the surface. She reads, she awakes, she returns. Her throat tightened, a whisper drafted through the basement, a woman's whisper. Continue. The temperature dropped so fast, her breath fogged. She kept reading the poem because she couldn't stop, because something behind the words pulled her tongue like a puppet strings. The freezing blast, the storm, the whirlwind's roar, all yield to thou apprentice, O power. The basement lights blinked. On the shelves, books slid an inch forward, then another, then they fell open. Pages lifted, turned, twisted, and then they crawled. Books dragged themselves across the tables. Pages ripped themselves free, unfolding into long spine limbs made of paper, then rose slowly, silently. Paper skinned creatures with hollow punch-out eyes, dozens of them, each shaped like a disformed human, but made entirely of torn Wheatley's manuscripts. Lena staggered back. Phillis? What is this? A soft voice, cultured unmistakably Wheatley's, answered from somewhere in the dark. Imagination opens realms not meant for the mortal thread. The pages parted, folding back like curtains. A woman stepped forward. She looked exactly like Wheatley's famous portrait. The cap, the dress, the quill in hand, except her eyes were black ink, dripping, running down her cheeks like tears. On her throat was a bruising mark, the shape of a hand, noose, dark, rope shadow. Lena realized with horror she wasn't seeing Wheatley's poet. She was seeing Wheatley the hunted, Wheatley the enslaved, Wheatley who had lost everything, Wheatley who had died in poverty, and in this Wheatley was angry. Wheatley whispered, "They silenced my tongue in life, so I found power in death." Lena's hand shook violently. What do you want from me?" The paper-skinned creatures circled her, heads twitching, listening. Wheatley glided closer, feet not touching the ground. "To read." She placed old manuscripts into Leia's shaking hands. "Read the final stanza." Leia didn't want to. Her veins felt packed with ice, but the shadows pressed in, waiting. She read, slowly, terrified. "But when thy magic feathers bind thy mind, the body follows, bending to thy will. Call forth the hollow ones from pages of torn, and let imagination children rise." The creatures inhaled all at once, a papery hiss. Wheatley raised her quill. Its tip dripped blood, dark ink. The creatures closed in. "You're the new keeper of my words," Wheatley said softly. "Your voice shall replace mine." "No, I don't want to." But it was already happening. Leia felt something sharp slice across her palm. Her blood dripped into the manuscript, and the ink absorbed it like thirsty soil. Her name wrote itself across the bottom of the page. Lena Brooks, the next poet. Then another line beneath, to write for the hollow ones. Books slip from shelves, pages twisting, forming chains. The chains wrapped around Leah's wrists, her ankles, her throat. Wheatley smiled sadly. Not cruel, not gleeful, just inevitable. Imagination is a gift, she whispered, and a curse. Lena was found the next morning by security, and or what was left of her. She sat at the table, hands moving in a blur, writing in dozens of open notebooks at once. Her eyes were entirely white. Her mouth whispered lines of poetry that didn't belong to this century. Pages covered the floor. Some crawled, some watched, some waited. Staff tried to pull her away from the table, but every page she had written turned blank, except for the final line, repeating over and over in fresh ink. Imagination, who can sing thou force? Who can escape it? The cameras cut out at 3:03 a.m. The last frame showed paper figures gathering behind her, waiting for their new master.
Sit here.
The poet of hollow words.
Eyes wide open. Remember, the terror doesn't end when the video does. You may try to forget, but the shadows have a way of following. The whispers grow louder each night, don't they? So go ahead, close your eyes, if you dare. But know this, you're not alone. Not anymore. But the Black Rabbit's curse has seen you, and it's waiting. So what happens when the lights go out? If you want to find out, make sure you come back. But next time, will you be ready? Sleep well. Or don't. Sit